The United States maintains between 700 and 800 military bases around the world. Nobody else does. But we maintain them as part of the Department of Defense. Okay, we're done. There it is.
A couple of comments. First of all, as you know, but some of our listeners might not, we just had a 3-hour plus conversation on the decline of the American empire that I would encourage our listeners to check out if they're interested in hearing more about the big picture of where the United States sits in, not only in history, but in global politics and its trajectory, the new Cold War, maybe we could call it, with China. But the second thing that really stuck out at me is that the two positives that you listed, well, I guess there were three positives, but the latter two positives that you listed regarding Trump's presidency were economic, because that is one thing that I tend to hear even across the political spectrum. He did make some good economic moves, but now, especially because I want to make sure that we talk about Harris and the future as opposed to the past, I first want to pose that same question that I initially did to you about Trump, but about the Biden presidency. I'm assuming that you would also view it as irrelevant in a certain way and as a flash in the pan relative to these larger movements that we've been discussing. But is there a different word that you would apply to encompass his presidency? And is there a strength and a negative to his presidency before we move on to Trump and Harris's agendas going forward?
Sure. First of all, I'm glad you mentioned that you've had this session on the decline of the empire. And I want to commend you. You are doing it, and it is being picked up. I'm talking, when I talk about silence, I'm talking about what I think goes by the name mainstream media or mainstream discourse